At the New Mexico Institute of Mining and Technology, researchers there took a non-traditional, but more efficient approach to monitoring wildlife.
Turning stuffed birds into drones may sound a little sci-fi.
Well, yeah, but it's actually happening. Chloe Nordquist shows us how scientists think this research could help planes operate better in the future.
Dead birds are being given a new life in one state, but it's a little unusual and perhaps even a little creepy.
Well, there's now a team of researchers who are creating drones using dead birds.
A team of researchers is creating drones using dead birds, and it's raising privacy concerns. Researchers at New Mexico Tech are taking a unique approach to studying wildlife and flight by transforming dead birds into drones.
It's a bird. It's a plane. Well, it's sort of both, but also sort of neither. These are the bird drones being developed by engineers at New Mexico Tech. And if they look quite real, that's because they are. The drones are built using the taxidermied remains of real birds.
Researchers at New Mexico Tech are taking a unique approach to studying wildlife and flight by transforming dead birds into drones. They will continue to study and develop the bird drones for the next couple of years. The current models fly for a maximum of 20 minutes. Just incredible.
This scientist is turning taxidermy birds into drones. Mustafa Hassanalian, a mechanical engineer at New Mexico Tech, has had this idea for more than a decade.
Researchers at New Mexico Tech are taking an innovative approach to wildlife monitoring by putting drones into taxidermy birds. In the meantime, researchers at New Mexico Tech are taking a new approach to wildlife monitoring. That includes putting drones into taxidermy birds.
Is it a bird? Is it a plane? Well, I guess it could be kind of both. The next drone you spot in the sky might be made out of a dead bird. Scientists in New Mexico are giving dead birds a new life by turning them into drones. It's an unconventional approach to wildlife.
Chris McKee here in the News 13 Digital Studio, joined today by Professor Mustafa Hassanalian, here today to talk about some of the research he's doing at New Mexico Tech, working on drones and autonomous systems and some really peculiar looking drones.
Scientists turn dead birds into ghoulish drones that can actually fly.
A team of scientists at New Mexico Tech created this flying Frankenbird. Synthetic body parts are fused with a real pheasant's head and feathers, and the mechanical body is adorned with pigeon feathers.
A team at the New Mexico Institute of Mining and Technology in Socorro is taking birds that have been preserved through taxidermy and converting them into drones in order to study flight.
A group of scientists in the U.S. are developing drones using the feathers of dead birds. It's part of a research that's working to better understand the aerodynamics of birds for future aircraft development.
A group of scientists in the US are developing drones using the feathers of dead birds.
Mais dans un communiqué de presse de la Nouvelle-Mexique, le Dr Hassanalian explique que ce ne sera pas pour demain la veille parce que leur prototype est.
Aves mortas voando. Como assim? Por meio da bioengenharia, misturando taxidermia e drones. O uso desse tipo de criação.
Σε μια μελέτη που παρουσιάστηκε στο Forum SciTech 2023 του Αμερικανικού Ινστιτούτου Αεροναυτικής και Αστροναυτικής.
Nosotros estamos bien y de buenas, Jesús Baena.
Hola Paula, ¿cómo estás? Qué gusto saludarlos, bienvenidos. Aquí arrancamos este espacio de viernes 3 de marzo de 2023. Comenzamos.
Científicos del Instituto de Minería y Tecnología Nuevo México en Estados Unidos colocan drones dentro de pájaros disecados para imitar su movimiento en el aire y su apariencia.
Drony na oblohe i hneď každého zaujímu. Čo ak by ale získali podobu, ktorá by dokonale splynula s prírodou? Mexickí výskumníci vymysleli spôsob, ako tieto bezpilotné lietadlá schovať do tiel vtákov.
Що ви бачите в небі птахів, але один із них – робот. Таке на меті має американський дослідник Мустафа Хасаналіан з університету Нью-Мексико. Він уже розробляв безпілотники з крилами, які махають.
Вещание телеканала «Сочи-24» продолжает информационный выпуск. Здравствуйте! В эфире «Время новостей в Сочи» с Евгенией Мос.
Представьте, что вы видите птиц в небе, одна из них – робот. К такой цели движется американский исследователь Мустафа Хассаналиан из Университета Нью-Мексико.
Изучить поведение птиц позволит уникальный дрон, который разработали в Университете Нью-Мехико. Его задача – внедриться в стаю пернатых и не только не распугать, но и собрать нужные сведения.
Представьте, что вы видите птиц в небе, одна из них робот. К такой цели движется американский исследователь Мустафа Hassanalian из Университета Нью-Мексико.
Беспилотники с машущими крыльями. Американские исследователи из Университета Нью-Мексико создают аппараты, которые могут внедряться в стаю птиц. Дрон, который...
Uma equipe de tecnologia do Novo México está dando uma nova vida aos pássaros mortos, convertendo as aves em drones com a ajuda da taxidermia.
Auch wenn man es nicht glauben würde, der flatternde Körper ist eine Drohne. Gebaut wurde sie von Forschenden des New Mexico Institute of Mining and Technology.
Burung mati disulap jadi robot drone untuk memata-matai hewan maupun manusia. Sekelompok peneliti dari New Mexico Tech University di Amerika Serikat baru-baru ini mempresentasikan robot drone terbaru mereka.
把鸟的尸体变成无人机，变得更方便地观察动物与人类。美国新墨西哥科技大学的科学家于1月19日在美国航天航空学会的科學與科技論壇展出新的無人機。科學家把鳥的屍體與無人機結合，裝上翅膀後就能翱翔。
lại hướng đến một chiếc máy bay không người lái có vật liệu thuần tự nhiên, và một trong số đó chính là nghiên cứu mà chúng tôi sẽ giới thiệu trong phóng sự sau đây. Thay vì sử dụng vật liệu nhân tạo, nhóm nghiên cứu đến từ Viện Khai thác và Công nghệ New Mexico của Mỹ đã tiết lộ cách họ phát triển thành công máy bay không người lái từ xác những...
Nghĩ là có một con chim ở trong đó đã chết. Vậy mà cảnh tượng này có thể sắp xảy ra bởi vì các nhà nghiên cứu ở trường Đại học Công nghệ New Mexico của Mỹ sẽ tạo ra một cách giám sát chim hoang một cách rất là khác thường. Đó là cài thiết bị bay không người lái drone vào chim nhồi có động cơ để có thể bay được như là khi
ให้ฟื้นคืนชีพกลายมาเป็นโดรนบินรูปแบบใหม่ที่ได้เห็นภาพแล้วต้องบอกเลยว่าลักษณะการบินนั้นเหมือนกับนกจริงๆเลยค่ะ
นักวิทยาศาสตร์ในรัฐนิวเม็กซิโกสหรัฐอเมริกาผุดไอเดียคืนชีพให้กับนกที่ตายแล้วโดยการนำซากของมันมาทำเป็นโดรนบินเพื่อใช้ศึกษารูปแบบการบินของนก
ที่ผ่านมาอาจจะไม่เคยมีใครคิดถึงเรื่องนี้แต่ในอนาคตอันใกล้อาจเกิดขึ้นจริงได้แล้วด้วยความสามารถของนักวิจัยจากมหาวิทยาลัยนิวเม็กซิโกเทคที่ได้ใช้วิธีแหวกแนวมาพัฒนางานวิจัยเพื่อเฝ้าสังเกตการสัตว์ป่า
जो है परिंदों से जो है पंछी ड्रोन बनाने में जो है वो कामयाब हुए हैं साइंसदान और जो इंजीनियरों ने जो हनूद शुदा जो परिंदों से ये ड्रोन्स जो है वो तैयार कर लिए हैं स्क्रीन के ऊपर भी आप देख सकते हैं।
परिंदों की पहचान उनकी उड़ान है। ये बुलंद परवाज तभी रुकती है जब वो मर जाते, लेकिन अब मुर्दा परिंदे भी फिजा में परवाज कर सकेंगे। न्यू मैक्सिको टेक नामी इदारे से वाबस्ता साइंसदान मुस्तफ़ा हसन अलियान ने मुर्दा परिंदों को ड्रोन का रूप देकर उन्हें एक
New Mexico researchers develop taxidermy bird drones. Scientists in US New Mexico are giving dead birds a new life with an unconventional approach to wildlife research.
సాధారణంగా డ్రోన్లు ఎలా ఎగురుతాయి? హెలికాప్టర్ తరహాలో అమర్చిన చక్రాలు తిరుగుతూ ఉంటే డ్రోన్లు ఎగురుతూ ఉంటాయి. ప్రస్తుతం డ్రోన్లు వివిధ ఆకృతుల్లో వస్తున్నాయి.
అమెరికాలోని న్యూ మెక్సికోకు చెందిన కొందరు పరిశోధకులు నూతన తరహా డ్రోన్ల తయారీకి పరిశోధన చేస్తున్నారు. చనిపోయిన పక్షులను డ్రోన్లుగా మార్చేందుకు ప్రయోగాలు చేస్తున్నారు.
సాధారణంగా పక్షులు చనిపోతే ఎవరు పట్టించుకోరు.
అమెరికాకు చెందిన న్యూ మెక్సిక్ ఇన్స్టిట్యూట్ ఆఫ్ మైనింగ్ అండ్ టెక్నాలజీ సంస్థ ఇంజనీర్లు వినూత్న పరిశోధనకు శ్రీకారం చుట్టారు. చనిపోయిన పక్షులను డ్రోన్లుగా మార్చి మళ్లీ గాల్లో ఎగిరేలా చేసేందుకు నిరంతరం శ్రమిస్తున్నారు. హెలికాప్టర్ తరహాలో సాధారణ డ్రోన్లకు చక్రాలు ఉంటాయి. వాటి సహాయంతోనే డ్రోన్లు గాల్లోకి ఎగురుతాయి. అయితే
ఇవాళ రేపు డ్రోన్ల వాడకం బగ్ అవుతున్నది వల్ల లొకేషన్ మంచిగా కవర్ అవుతుందని పెద్ద పెద్ద లీడర్లు మీటింగ్ పెట్టినప్పుడు డ్రోన్ కెమెరాలను మస్తుగా వాడుకుంటున్నారు.
మెక్సికో దిక్కున్న న్యూ మెక్సికో ఇన్స్టిట్యూట్ వాళ్ళు పానం లేని పిట్టలను ఎగిరించారు. ఇక జీవిడిచిన పక్షుల పెయి ఖరాబు కాకుండా చేసి
मेक्सिको में वैज्ञानिकों ने एक अनूठा प्रयोग किया है. यहाँ वन्य जीवों की निगरानी करने और उन पर रिसर्च करने के लिए एक ऐसा ड्रोन तैयार किया गया है जिसे मृत पक्षियों के शरीर में फिट किया जाता है.
Agar dapat mengamati habitat burung di alam liar. Tim peneliti dari Universitas New Mexico Tech mengembangkan studi ilmiah yang tak biasa. Seorang profesor teknik Mustafa Hassanalian bersama
তো এমন দৃশ্যই দেখা যাবে। যুক্তরাষ্ট্রের নিউ মেক্সিকোর একদল গবেষক এমনই এক প্রযুক্তির আবিষ্কার করেছেন তাতে প্রাণ ফিরে পাচ্ছে মৃত পাখিরা।
மெக்சிகோவில் தொழில்நுட்ப கலைஞர்கள் பறவையின் இறகுகளை கொண்டு ட்ரோன் செய்து அசத்தியுள்ளனர். உயிரிழந்த பறவைகளின் இறகுகளை கொண்டு நிஜ பறவை போலவே ட்ரோன்களை அமைக்கப்பட்டுள்ளன. இந்த ட்ரோன் பார்ப்பதற்கு பறவை போலவே இருப்பதால் சிறப்பு கவனம் பெற்றுள்ளது.
মৃত পাখিদের ফেলে না দিয়ে ভিন্ন উপায়ে সংরক্ষণের মাধ্যমে এই কল্পনাকে বাস্তবে রূপ দেওয়ার চেষ্টা করে যাচ্ছেন যুক্তরাষ্ট্রের নিউ মেক্সিকো অঙ্গরাজ্যের একদল গবেষক.
వైల్డ్ లైఫ్ గురించి అంచనా వేసేందుకు ఇప్పుడు చనిపోయిన పక్షులను ఉపయోగిస్తున్నారు. చనిపోయిన పక్షులను బతికించడం సాధ్యం కాదు కాబట్టి వాటి శరీరాలను ఉపయోగించి గూఢచర్యానికి ఉపయోగించాలని డిసైడ్ అయ్యారు.
যুক্তরাষ্ট্রের নিউ মেক্সিকো অঙ্গরাজ্যের একদল গবেষক মৃত পাখিদের ফেলে না দিয়ে ভিন্ন উপায়ে সংরক্ষণের চেষ্টা করছেন। অঙ্গরাজ্যটির শোকুর এলাকায় নিউ মেক্সিকো ইনস্টিটিউশন অব মাইনিং অ্যান্ড টেকনোলজির একদল গবেষক মৃত পাখির সংরক্ষিত ট্যাক্সিডার্মি দিয়ে ড্রোন তৈরি করছে।
কলস ব্যবহার করে বানিয়ে ফেলেছেন অভিনব ড্রোন। নিউ মেক্সিকোর মেকানিক্যাল ইঞ্জিনিয়ার ডক্টর মোস্তফা হাসানালিয়ান ট্যাক্সিডার্মি পাখিকে ড্রোনের মধ্যে ফিট করে এই অভিনব ফ্ল্যাপিং উইং ড্রোন তৈরি করেছেন।
मुर्दा परिंदों से पंछी ड्रोन बनाने में कामयाबी न्यू मेक्सिको टेक्नोलॉजी यूनिवर्सिटी से वाबस्ता डॉक्टर मुस्तफ़ा हसनलियान ने असल परिंदों की लाशों को उड़ने वाले
ねえ、ライブサイエンス誌によると鳥の剥製をドローンとして使用する研究がニューメキシコ工科大学のモスタファ・ハサナリアンさんによって進められているという記事をピックアップしました。
들어보셨나요? 미국 뉴멕시코 공대 연구원들은 죽은 새들의 몸으로 좀비 무인기를 개발하였습니다. 박제된 새의 몸을 이용하는 것이죠. 왜 이런 드론을 만드는 것일까요? 그들은 드론이 자연환경과 더 잘 어우러져 야생동물을 관찰하는 데 도움을 줄 수 있다고 말합니다. 기계공학과 조교수 모스타파 하사날리안 박사는 자신의 팀이 만든 드론에 대해 이렇게 말합니다.
이 프로젝트의 주요 용도이자 유일한 용도는 야생동물을
ما پرنده‌های بالزن تاکسیدرمی شده از پرنده‌های مرده رو که تبدیل به درون می‌کنیم.
They say that birds of a feather flock together, but what if that flock includes a few high-tech spies? I'm Kurt the Cyber Guy, and if you want to stay up to date with the crossover between taxidermy and robotics, scientists have revealed that they've managed to turn dead birds into drones that could potentially be used to spy on us.
Young researchers are turning taxidermy birds into drones, which could be potentially a very useful espionage tool because it will look more like the real thing and hopefully is more inclined to be ignored. It may be ignored by spy targets, but what about the other birds?
Oh, the greatest show on television!
A team of U.S. scientists in New Mexico are experimenting with dead birds by turning them into flying drones.
So check me out. This is what they're doing over in New Mexico. According to KSL News, they are literally turning dead birds that have been, you know, what is the word that they say after they've been used in taxidermy? What is it? Taxidermed? I don't know what the word is.
De hecho, tienen redes sociales, se llaman Birds Aren't Real, como las aves no son reales. Resulta que en Nuevo México, y esto sí es real, hay tecnología que se está desarrollando para convertir a pájaros muertos en drones. El profesor de ingeniería mecánica Mostafa Hassanalian, que lidera el proyecto, concluyó que los pájaros mecánicos...
What is happening?
We want to help nature. I am Mustafa Hassanalian. I'm an associate professor at New Mexico Tech, and I'm developing nature-friendly drones from taxidermy dead birds.
Researchers at New Mexico Tech are gaining a lot of attention for a unique project. Annalisa Pardo showed us in April how they're getting dead birds to take flight again, all for research.
Researchers from New Mexico are turning dead birds into drones in an effort to help monitor wildlife.
Wait, they're turning dead birds into drones.
While we're on the subject of birds, the bodies of some of these animals that have died are getting the chance to fly again. It's a research project where taxidermy meets technology, and it's taking place in the U.S. state of New Mexico.
Dead birds come alive again as drones, thanks to an engineering project at New Mexico Tech. Specifically, uses like wildlife management and monitoring birds.
미국 뉴멕시코 공대 모스타파 하사날리안 교수 연구팀은 새들의 비행 패턴을 모방한 드론을 개발하고 있는데요. 이 연구를 위해서 죽은 새의 일부를 활용하고 있습니다.
Và các nhà khoa học tại New Mexico hồi sinh chim đã chết thành thiết bị bay không người lái. Theo Reuters, một nhóm nhà nghiên cứu tại Viện Khai thác và Công nghệ New Mexico ở Socorro tận dụng.
Các nhà khoa học tại Viện Khai thác và Công nghệ New Mexico biến các tiêu bản chim thành máy bay không người lái để nghiên cứu cách bay. Người đứng đầu dự án là tiến sĩ.
鸟儿再次高飞天空，急着动物标本包质数。一组研究人员成功的将死去的鸟类化身成无人机，让他们的祖先在天空中俯视着地球。虽然这听起来有点恐怖，但团队成
বিষয়টি আশ্চর্য হলেও এটাই সত্যি। মৃত পাখিদের জীবিত করার উদ্যোগ নিয়েছেন আমেরিকার একদল গবেষক। প্রাণের সঞ্চার করা না গেলেও পাখিদের চামড়া রং আগের মতোই থাকবে এবং সেগুলোকে রূপান্তরিত করা হবে ড্রোনে।
মৃত পাখির খোলস ব্যবহার করে অভিনব ড্রোন বানিয়ে সাড়া ফেলেছেন আমেরিকার কয়েক জনগবেষক।
রাসায়নিক এবং ট্যানিং এর মাধ্যমে মৃত প্রাণীর শরীরে চামড়া সংরক্ষণ করে সেটি দিয়ে ড্রোন তৈরি করতে যাচ্ছেন যুক্তরাষ্ট্রের নিউ মেক্সিকো অঙ্গরাজ্যের একদল গবেষক।
Researchers and engineers at New Mexico Tech are working on the next generation of drone technology.
Researchers and engineers at New Mexico Tech are working on the next generation of drone technology.
Researchers and engineers at New Mexico Tech are working on the next generation of drone technology.
Yeah, as News 13's Chad Brummett reports for New Mexico Frontiers, the future of unmanned vehicles is finding inspiration from Mother Nature. Take a look.
While it may be decades before man ever sets foot on Mars, once we get there, don't expect a welcoming committee.
Because of the extreme condition on Mars, it would be really hard to create habitats in the surface.
You don't need a Schwarzenegger sci-fi to scare you. The high radiation, sub-zero temperatures, and toxic dust are more likely to kill you than spies and assassins.
Therefore, space agencies are looking below ground for future habitation in Mars's lava tubes.
There are like thousands of them. They are being found on Mars by one of the missions that NASA conducted.
However, most of the robotic vehicles are too large to fit through the vents to these caves for further exploration. That's where an army of drones may come into play. Drones that are taking inspiration from our natural world.
We have been trying to look at the nature from different perspectives and biologies and try to learn and develop new types of drone systems as well as robots.
Dr. Mustafa Hassanalian at New Mexico Tech has spent years developing drones of all shapes and sizes. KRQE first told you about his drones that use taxidermied birds in April of 2023.
The researchers use dead bird carcasses and feathers, and with the help of taxidermists in Albuquerque, attach them to a drone.
But that's just the tip of the iceberg. Drones that mimic the behavior of roly-polies and dandelions could hold the key to the future colonization of the red planet.
So then those robots can disperse those dandelion seeds. They can collect information, temperature, humidity, pressure, and we can now we will know what's going on in subsurface on Mars. So we have a better idea about this potential habitat.
Dr. Hassanalian says that there are more than 50 different types of drones on the market these days with more than 200 applications. But his research is looking to expand on both of those. It's really interesting because we're not just thinking of birds, but I mean, you know, looking at this, we've got dragonflies, we've got spiders, we've got jellyfish, and they've all got a variety of different applications. So it's not just talking about airborne drone technology. I mean, this is a huge world of different applications that drones will be inhabiting.
Exactly. So the couple of the projects that here we have been doing at New Mexico Tech is how we can inspire from nature in general. So if you look at the terrestrial animals, insects, they all give us an idea, and a part of the research that we have been doing is developing autonomous system for planetary exploration, like how we can develop new way of locomotion or novel robots that they can be more efficient than the traditional like wheel-based or track-based robot that they're currently on Moon or Mars.
Biomimicry and bioinspiration, as Dr. Hassanalian calls it, use the blueprints provided by Mother Nature to develop these next-generation drones. He says their applications could be as menial as maintenance and observation, or as vital as first response to an emergency. And
I'm not interested in Saturn. I said Mars.
Making life on Mars possible without the total recall. Chad Brummett, KRQE News 13.
Awesome stuff right there. Engineers are also leaning into historical culture and religious iconography to find inspiration for future drones.
Meanwhile, researchers are learning more about how certain markings on the majestic monarch butterflies are helping them to survive. And I know Christina's been waiting for this one.
I'm so excited about this story.
Yeah.
Okay, Jillian Angeline is live with us now to tell us what she heard from the team. Jillian?
On the majestic monarch butterflies are helping them survive.
AccuWeather's Jillian Angeline, who is looking awfully majestic herself, joins us now live to tell us what she heard from the team. Good morning, Jillian. I love your wings.
Well, thank you very much, Christina. And Bernie, I just had to for this story. Research scientist Andy Davis tells me the monarch butterfly migration is one of nature's greatest wonders, and they're learning more day by day.
If you think about the monarch butterfly, they're like one of the best flyers in the insect world.
Researchers are finding out more about what helps these incredible insects make the nearly 3,000-mile journey to Mexico for the winter. Andy Davis has studied monarch butterflies and their migration for about 25 years. He collaborated with researchers like Mustafa Hassanalian for recent work on monarch butterfly spots.
His work on sort of the aerodynamics of bird wings was the inspiration for this work. He basically has shown that how the color or the pigmentation of bird feathers actually improves their aerodynamic performance.
In this case, the butterflies with larger white spots and more of them were more likely to make it to their winter destination. The team compared past specimens and images of butterflies during all parts of the migration.
We had collections of monarchs that were done in like Wisconsin and Minnesota during the breeding season. We had collections of monarchs during the fall migration, and then we had collections of monarchs at the overwintering colonies in Mexico. And so those ones were successful.
The information gathered could make a big impact in the aviation industry. Hassanalian says they are hoping to use what they learned to apply it to improve flight performance and efficiency for fixed-wing drones and other aircraft.
A small amount of the drag reduction in the aviation industry is a huge saving in the fuel, as well as energy and less pollution.
The researchers say they still have a lot more to learn about the pretty white spots and plan on using computer simulations and wind tunnels for future experiments. Now, Hassanalian tells me they also want to look at monarchs over 100 years to see how changes in the climate have impacted their white spots over time.
Monarch butterfly spots help it migrate, according to a study, and that's from the BBC News website.
Last October, we featured a story about the increased use of unmanned aerial vehicles, or drones, that are being put to work in mining operations. We showed you various types of these UAVs, most of which are used at surface mines. Now, there are a few models that are designed to operate in certain underground environments, like this one, but it's challenging to fly drones underground, as you might imagine. You have to deal with confined space, reduced visibility, air velocity, dust concentration, and the lack of wireless communication systems. What about flying a UAV in an underground coal mine? Seems like that could be especially problematic, right? It presents a whole different set of challenges, starting with the lack of an available and permissible platform. In other words, drones can't really be safely flown in coal mines yet. My story this month is about two gentlemen in New Mexico who are working on a solution for solving that problem. They're going to tell us all about what they're doing. Back in June 2021, we learned on Core Safety TV that drones, or unmanned aerial vehicles, UAVs, cannot yet be flown safely in coal mines. That's because so far, no one has created an available and permissible platform that will work and will meet MSHA approval. Maybe you recall that I introduced you to these two gentlemen in Socorro, New Mexico. Here's an exciting update on a story that we've been following for the last 2 years. A research team out of New Mexico Tech has figured out a way to build a drone that should be able to safely and permissibly fly in coal mines. This is a significant achievement.